Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
I've got a little something for you. So for the last 20 years, I've been studying, experimenting, and exploring the body.
I've never seen anything like it. Up close, I mean.
Well, not quite.
But I've experimented with just about every form of exercise,
Just doing my workout. Oh, it's a deep burn.
nutrition,
So you like donuts, eh?
meditation,
Inner peace, inner peace, inner peace, inner peace, inner peace, inner peace, inner peace.
and much, much more.
And in all this time, I came to discover what I consider to be the most important discovery I've made to this day.
What's that? Your body is a person.
A person, not just a part of your being, but rather one of the three persons that makes you, you.
Sound crazy?
Well,
What was the last conversation you had with yourself?
Who am I?
And who the hell are you actually conversing with?
I don't know.
is your mind speaking to itself, conversing with itself?
If the mind is speaking to itself, that's like speaking into a phone with no one at the other end. And that don't make much sense.
And why the hell do we even have conversations with ourselves if we're just a singular entity?
How can we have inner dialogue if there isn't more than one person to our being? We have internal dialogue because there is actually three persons that make up our being.
1, the person of the body. 2, the person of the mind. And 3, the person of the soul.
You are three different persons with different thoughts, feelings, and roles.
Now how the hell does that work?
Rather than dive too deep into this right now, let's just take it one step at a time. My videos are called Something to Chew On, not something to choke on.
What I want to focus on right now is the person of the body and the person of the mind.
All right. First, your body has a language all its own that is totally different than the mind's. The body's language is quite simple. Sensation, pleasure, or pain.
This tastes good.
This tastes bad.
This feels good.
This hurts.
I'm energized.
I'm tired.
It's all on the sensation scale of pleasure to pain.
Very often, we only really listen to the body when it involves pain or sickness, which are the same.
You ever notice that people don't truly change their habits unless they're in a lot of pain or really sick?
It's as if this is the only time we might end up really listening.
Or we just take drugs.
Lots of drugs.
So why are we this way?
Well, partly because we don't truly see our bodies as a person. You listen to people and persons, not objects.
And most of the time, we treat our bodies like objects.
But not you, of course.
I would never do that. I would never do that.
And that's why we don't have a healthy relationship with the person of the body.
Now, if we are not truly listening to the person of the body, who the hell are we listening to most of the time?
Well,
It's the person who is watching this video and trying to understand what it is that I'm saying.
it's also the person who came up with this video. Who's that?
The person of the mind.
Your mind is the person you listen to most of the time, because that is what you have been taught to listen to.
But the mind's language is different than the body's. The mind operates on knowledge and information instead of sensation.
For example,
It's late and your body is telling you it's exhausted and it wants to go to sleep. But you have a deadline.
So your mind says to you in a very sweet way,
if you don't get this done on time, you will lose your job, everyone will hate you, and you will die alone.
All right, perhaps that's a bit over the top.
But basically your mind is saying you have to get all your work done to avoid trouble.
whereas the body says, give me a break and we'll still get it done. Just a bit later. Let's wake up early, but refreshed.
But fearful. The mind convinces you to finish your work now, so there is no chance of you getting in trouble.
So, you drink some caffeine, eat some sugar, and force the person of the body to stay awake, finish your work.
But then you wake up exhausted, grumpy, achy, and maybe end up catching a cold.
Don't even tell me you don't know this scenario.
Another example.
You're at a dinner party and the food tastes terrible.
All right, Monica, I want you to have the first taste.
The person in the body is saying, don't eat it.
Really?
But you do anyways, because you don't want to insult the host.
Well,
The person of the body says not to eat it because it tastes like crap.
But the person in the mind says,
Eat it because you don't want to be rude.
it's good.
Body and the mind don't agree all the time.
now, the person in the mind is not bad at all, but it can and does get in the way.
The person of the mind wants to protect you and gathers all the information it can to do its job.
Problem is, the mind can also be fed the wrong information or misinformation about yourself or the world. The mind can be deceived.
And this can lead to unhealthy and unwise choices. Choices, while they might seem that they are helping you, they're actually harming you.
Simply put, the person in the mind is driven by fear.
And most of the time, the person of the mind only allows the person of the body pleasure when all of its fears are in check.
Check, 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 check.
It's a bit backwards and a little out of balance.
Or a lot backwards and out of balance.
Now, what can be done?
Well, if you want to reconnect, reorder the relationship between your mind and body so you can feel truly great,
Then stay tuned in.
if you want to go fast, reach out to me.
I want you to see your body and mind as a marriage. Two different persons living in the same household. Basically, if the marriage is in tune, then the person of the body is adored and taken care of. If the marriage is out of tune, then the person of the body is abused, neglected, and restricted.
You could almost think of the mind as male and the body as female.
The her of your being needs the right kind of protection from the him.
We don't want the stronger mind to abuse the body, but rather to seduce the body with acceptance, appreciation, freedom, and love.
Your body has immense power and beauty.
And I will introduce you to her.
I will unveil for you her infinite wisdom, and you will fall in love with her.
It's the romance you once had with yourself when you were a child, but weren't aware of it.
A time when the mind was moved by the body.
All right, one last thing.
Absolutely all your relationships with others are the result of the relationship you have with yourself.
If your relationship with your body is limited or off, your relationship with others will always be limited or off.
If you are harsh with the person of your body, it is most likely you will be harsh with others.
But if you're in love with yourself and the person of the body and care for it lovingly and passionately, so will it be with your relationships to others, starting with those you love the most.